Hi guys, it's Breanna.
And I'm Cooper.
Okay, so for today's video, it's gonna be a story time.
A highly requested story time.
Yeah, you guys asked us to make this video a lot. So we're gonna be basically telling you how and why we broke up, and then how and why we got back together.
Okay, so before the video starts, she's gonna be doing a lot of talking, and so any of you haters in the comments,
yeah, don't say mean things about me talking too much and saying blah blah blah. It was my idea to make this video, and a lot of it has to do with me and what I went through, and it's kind of a tough story to tell, so don't like comment anything rude. And if I do say a lot, it's just because it's hard for me to talk about this. So
you got this.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, Cooper and I, as you know, dated, I think we said this in the first video, we started dating in October of 2014, and we were together for about a year, kind of. So, when we were dating, we were, like, obsessed with each other, and we did anything we could to hang out with each other and talk 24/7. So since we were so obsessed with each other, we would try to talk nonstop and hang out nonstop. My parents did not think that was healthy, and so they would try to limit us hanging out and talking by like not letting me have my phone, or saying you can't talk to him for a whole week, and if you go the week without talking to him, then you're fine, you can have your phone back. Obviously at school I could see him and talk to him. They just, like, outside of school, they just wanted me to take a break. And they were just trying to help us. Like, they weren't being mean. They were worried because they were like, you're putting all your eggs in one basket. All you're doing is talking to him. You need to hang out with your friends, blah, blah, blah. Which, at the time, I didn't see that. I thought they were just being assholes. And now I realize what they were trying to do, and that they were trying to help and try to just make our relationship healthy. Because when you're with each other that much and talking that much, it's not good. But we didn't see that, so blah, blah, blah. So basically, it got to the point where I was sneaking out and stealing my sister's phones in the middle of the night so I could talk to him, doing all these things I shouldn't have been doing. Basically, I just turned into like an awful child. Like, I did not listen to my parents. I didn't care what they said. I was a complete inconsiderate jerk to them. Like, I didn't care what they said. I wanted to see Cooper. And I saw Cooper, no matter what they said. But basically, it was an awful situation, and I'm not going to get into it because I don't want you guys, like, I'm not going to tell my whole personal family life and everything that happened, because it was really hard on my family, and they'd be kind of upset with me if I just told everything that happened, because it was a really rough year. But basically, I was just being an awful child, and I feel really bad now looking back on it, because at the time I didn't see it. I thought they were just being mean. But yeah, so basically we just did not listen, and my parents would get mad because I would always get in trouble for it, and he really wouldn't get in trouble because there were two different sides of each story, and my parents saw things different than his parents, and so our families just didn't really get along. So basically it got to the point where my parents had had enough, and they were like, fine, you're sneaking out, you're stealing people's phones, you're doing all these things you shouldn't be doing, you're skipping school, because one time we had skipped school and called ourselves in, and so my parents were like, we're done. They pulled me out of HSC, which is where we went together, so we couldn't see each other. They put me into an online school, and they told us that we weren't dating. We couldn't date. And again, I still was sneaking out and taking people's phones to talk to him, because I didn't care. And then it got to the point where I don't even remember what led up to this point, but my parents had taken me to like a counselor, and maybe that would help, but I just didn't care. I was an asshole to the counselors. I was like, I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what you say. I don't care what my parents say. I just want to see Cooper. Let me see Cooper and I'll be happy. And so I ended up living with my grandparents for a while. My parents just didn't want anything to do with me. I was being awful to them. I would call them names. I would scream and cry and act like a 4-year-old. And this is really an embarrassing video to make, because I lost my mind. Like, I went crazy. And basically that's my side of the story. I had, like, just from that point, I had left my parents' house, was living with my grandparents, still trying to contact Cooper. And then it got to the point where Cooper had given up, just like my parents did. On our 1 year, I was still at my house before I was at my grandparents' house. And he had been at his friend's house the night before, and we were talking like everything was fine. We were planning on sneaking out and seeing each other. And randomly that day, he just didn't talk to me all day. Not one word.
And don't ask me why. I to this day have no idea why I did it. I wish I wouldn't have done it. I regret it all.
So yeah, he just ignored me and didn't talk to me. And then the next day, he texted me and was like, sorry, my phone died. I left it at Cole's house. I just never went back and got it, which I knew was a lie. Like, he wasn't just gonna not get his phone all day. And then after he sent me that text saying sorry he didn't talk to me, he ignored me again for the rest of that day. And then the next day, he ignored me again. And then the next day, he ignored me again. And every once in a while, I'd get a text saying, hey, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And I got really depressed. And I was confused because we were still dating. Like, he never said we're done. He was just ignoring me. And so finally, one day, I was on vacation and I came home. And I got in a fight with my parents because I just wanted to see Cooper and I was depressed. They didn't know he was ignoring me. I don't know. And so that was when I had gone to my grandparents. And I told Cooper, I texted him, I was like, please, I'm alone right now. I'm fighting with my parents. I need you. And he's like, I'm sorry. I'm here, blah, blah, blah. You always have me. And that was the last text I got from him for like a good month. And finally he said that. He texted me.
Oh,
and he said he was done and he didn't want to be with me anymore and that I was crazy and that I needed to stop trying to contact him. And I was just so confused because he never told me we were done. He was just ignoring me, so obviously I was going to keep trying to contact him and figure out what was up. And then when I was with my grandparents, he would still, every once in a while, he would like play like games with me. Like he'd talk to me for 5 minutes and then ignore me, and then he'd have other people text me, like other girls, and be like, oh yeah, we're hanging out tonight, blah, blah, blah. And
which was a lot. I didn't actually like...
Yeah, and I would just get all this information from other people that he was with this girl and that he had hooked up with this girl, and then he'd text me and be like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And it was just really hard because I had not been home. I was with my grandparents. I missed my family. The person I loved was being a complete asshole to me. He was ignoring me, and when he would talk to me, he was not nice. Like, he would call me names, make fun of me, have all of his friends text me, and basically bully me. Like, I still have texts from some of his friends that were just heartbreaking, just telling me I was worthless and stupid for even trying and to just give up and blah, blah, blah. And I was already depressed. And so I started to self-harm. And I thought that that was a good outlet for everything, which it wasn't. And I blamed everything on my family. I was like, if you would have just let me see Cooper, he wouldn't have broke up with me, blah, 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 blah. And I just gave up. And I got to the point where I tried to commit suicide. And no one knew. Like, my parents didn't know, my family didn't know. I had told one person, and I talked to him about everything with Cooper, and he would like try to help me get through it, but I was still just really depressed. And finally, my grandparents thought I was getting better because I would hide everything from them. I didn't tell them I was sad, and my parents thought I was getting better, so they let me come home. And little did I know, the whole time I was at my grandparents' house, my parents were trying to find hospitals to admit me to. But not because of the depression, because they didn't know. Just because I was acting up and being reckless and not caring about anything and being a complete brat. They didn't find out about my self-harm stuff until after the fact, and that's when they got really scared. And in between the times when we were fighting and he was ignoring me, I was in 2 hospitals for like a week or 2, or like a little over a week. And then I went, when I got home, things were better. They were better. Like, I was finally getting over Cooper. I mean, obviously I was still depressed and stuff because I loved him. I didn't want to not be with him. But my parents were like, okay, so this hospital accepted you. You're going to be admitted. I know you're doing better, but we're going to do it anyway because we think it'll help. So I ended up having to pack all my things and going into a residential hospital. And I thought I was going to be there for at most a month. and I was there for 6 months. And it was the hardest 6 months of my life, knowing that the whole time I was in there, Cooper was just living his life free, hooking up with who knows what. Like, that's all I was thinking about, was who he was with. But I was in there because I knew I needed to get better. So I put him aside. Obviously, he was still in my mind, but I worked on myself for a good 6 months, and it was the best 6 months of my life. Like, it was hard. I would call my parents crying, saying I want to come home, because I only got 10 minutes of phone call time each night. I only got 10-minute showers, and that was just, not just a shower. Like, that was getting in the shower, getting undressed, showering, getting dressed, and getting out. I could not be in there any longer than that. I had to sleep with the door open and the hallway lights on. If you were on precautions, meaning they thought that you were a harm to yourself when you went to the bathroom, a staff member had to have their foot in the door, so your door couldn't even be shut all the way. You couldn't have you only could have like 6 shirts, 6 pants, a certain amount of underwear, a certain amount of clothes, and they couldn't be leggings. You couldn't have certain underwear. You couldn't have bras. You had to wear sports bras. You couldn't write with pens or pencils. You could only write with marker, and the only time you had a pencil was in school. I couldn't talk to any of my friends. I had no access to anything. So it was really, really hard, but it helped me so much. I was such a better person. I came out happy as can be. I loved myself. I had my family back. Everything was perfect. And everyone was like, "You're done with Cooper, right?" I was like, "Yeah, completely done. Who cares about him?" But then, when I got home, obviously people talk, and I had found out about some things that he had done, and it really hurt my feelings, because Cooper and I, when we were dating, he was the only person I had ever done anything with, and same for, well, not same for him, but like certain things. But anyway, so he was the only person I've ever done stuff with. So when I got home and found out that other things have happened with other people, I got really upset, and I like started getting kind of depressed again, because I still loved him, even though I was over him because of everything I went through and how he treated me. But then he contacted me, and me at the time was being stupid and thought I'd talk to him again, and I was like, I'm not going to catch feelings. I'm just going to tell him how it is, how he ruined my life, and this, and let him go and make him feel like a piece of shit for hurting me. And it didn't work like that, clearly. I had transferred to Mount Vernon, and I had started over, and my parents thought I was done with him. I thought I was done with him. But then I got reeled back in, and here I am. And at first, everyone hated me. My friends were pissed off. My parents were pissed off. My sisters were pissed off. Just because I was talking to him. Not even because I had started dating him again. Just because I had given him the time of day. And I knew it was wrong. I knew I had gone 6 months to get help for everything that I was damaged from. And I should not have even talked to him. But I did. And then I started feeling like, alright, everyone deserves a second chance. I love him. And he hurt me, but he won't do it again. And this, and this. And I just kept thinking and thinking and thinking. And my parents just kept getting more and more upset with me. And I'm not going to tell you exactly what happened, because again, that's personal family stuff. But I decided that I had had enough, and I was going to move out and live with Cooper. So I packed my things in the middle of the night, called Cooper, said, "Pick me up, I'm living with you," and moved out. And we lived with his brother for a couple weeks, and then his parents didn't think that was safe, because his brother's like 20-something, and it wasn't stable. It was just not a good thing. So I moved in with him and his family, and that's where we are now. And so that's my side of the story. There was a lot of other things that happened, there was a lot more details I could have gone in, there's a lot more awful things that happened, and more stories I could have told, but that's basically it. My parents and I are on good terms now, kind of with my sisters, but again, I'm not getting into any of that because that's just really personal. I mean, obviously everything I said was super, super personal, but I don't want to hurt my family's feelings. But basically, I'm with Cooper, we're together, I love him. Everyone makes mistakes. We're going to continue to make mistakes. But I'm happy right now. There were a lot of times when I had moved in with him when I wasn't happy, because I was sad, because I missed my family, and so I started doing things again that I shouldn't have done. But as of right now, I am happy, and I love Cooper, and I love his family, and I love my family, and no matter what happens, I'm always going to love my family. They're the best people in the world. My parents will do anything to take care of me. So don't hate on them. Don't hate on Cooper. yes, some of the things that he did and said were awful.
We're wrong. No, I agree with that. I agree with everything, but
again, everyone changes. And we were stupid in high school. He was an asshole back then. I was an asshole back then. We were all assholes. So yeah, basically that's it. I went through a really hard time, but I'm better now. We're better now. My family and I are better now. So yeah, if you guys have any other questions, you can leave them down below. We'll probably make a separate video of Cooper's side of the story. I don't really know what else to say, but thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for all your support. And also, I just want to say, I know so many people comment and they say stuff like, oh, you guys are perfect. I wish I could be like that. You didn't know any of the stuff that I just told you. So no matter who you think's life is better than yours, it's probably not. And right now we're happy and we're doing our thing, but my past was awful and I wouldn't want that on anybody. Never want to have someone else's life because you don't know who has it worse than you. And obviously there's people who have had it worse than me, and obviously there's people that have had it worse than them. But I just want to get that out there, like, as much as you think we're perfect, we're not. We're just people. And we thank you guys for all of your support and all your love. And I'm not saying don't do any of that. I'm just saying, like, everything is not always what it seems. And so just kind of be careful what you wish for, because you don't really want other people's lives. You only can live for you. And yeah, basically that's it. So we love you guys. Thank you for watching. Remember to comment, subscribe, and especially like it if you want more. Again, thank you so much for watching.
We'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace out, everybody. Hey, look at me. Look. Love you.
I love you too.
Nice.